guys. Yeah, wanted to showcase everything that I learned for the second week of boxing training. Um, we did a bit of some jump rope, some mitt work, did some body shots on each other, and getting a good read on other people and how they move and how they think essentially when it comes to getting timing and things like that, right? And so we went over quite a bit, but this is more of like a basics of how we went through. So I don't have a jump rope on me, but we did some jump roping, and yeah, definitely got to improve on that for sure. But that definitely helps out with endurance. But we did that as like a basic warm up, and then after that, we started off with some bag work or some heavy bag work. So focusing on the things that we've already covered. So a bit of like uppercut combos and being able to jab and do some straights and punches and things like that. So after that, that was still a bit of a warm up, and then the rest of the class was more instructional, kind of based to where we decided to do some mitt work, where we each partnered up to where one person would wear a mitt for a round, and for the entire round, one person would be focused on hitting the mitts or countering. And then they would switch, and then next round would go, and we would do that a couple times, and then do a different combo or a different technique. And yeah, with how mitts are, they're just like these glove mitts that you put on your hands, and the goal is just to have the person strike at your mitt. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the goal of it is to be able to not only work on what actually works with boxing, but just to be able to have like a good feel of how the combos are, and actually like how work on the technique and the places where you should strike, and yeah, things like that. So when somebody's just has their mitts just right here, and they're only striking at these are still pretty much KO zones, where if you attack these guys, then if the person's moving his head or something and he gets hit, right, they could still get hit. So these are pretty much like KO zones when someone's trying to move their head or things like that. It would be pretty well against my style. Right? If someone was just had their mitts like that and just said, attack these. Right? And every time, like let's say if I was going to attack one mitt, I still have this mitt to deal with. And every attack is going to have some sort of a reaction to it. So I could hit that mitt, and that's going to do some sort of a reaction, either a hook, a straight, or something. And then I could do a slip, and then that also opens up mitt to where I could attack it, right? And I want to attack the right mitt. So I'll just kind of picture it as like the entire body, or anytime you're fighting somebody, it's always like a potential mitt placement. And the placements of what we've been learning are pretty much like the gold standard kind of placements, to where it's like, yep, like you want to kind of go for the body if you're just right there, or to go for the head or something, right? You don't want to do too much head hunting, and you don't want to just do too much body hunting to where you get knocked out or something, right? So a lot of stuff like that plays into part. So if he had his mitt like this, and I'll go jab it, and he's doing a bit of a counter, and I'm going to duck it, go through with it, and be able to drive through those other mitts. So he could go, okay, you strike me, boom, I'm going to strike back, and then if I strike back, I'm going to have this mitt open for a good body. So boom, 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 and Just like little movements like that. So that's kind of like the basic gist of kind of mitts, but what we were doing for this, we're mainly focused on counters. So the first thing that we did was I'll throw a jab at his mitt and he would do a counter. And with the counter, I would duck under his attack and I would go for one body shot and then two body shots, just like that. And I have this line here just to kind of help show that, you know, I get pretty low. Getting low and up and close is really good. So, throwing a jab, duck, and as I'm ducking, boom, 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 boom. And yeah, little things like that. So a bit sore. Yeah, definitely still sore from previous days, so sorry about my lack of speed or anything like that. Joints are definitely feeling it. But yeah, he would go for the counter and I would do some bodies on his mitts, and then the next thing that we learned was a bit even more technical. I'd say it's lean more towards defensive fighters, so if you're a defensive fighter, you probably have heard of the Philly shell. Where the Philly shell is kind of like, if you think of boxers like Floyd Mayweather, he always has like a good Philly shell technique. Sometimes like he likes to just kind of be a little traditional, but he turns a lot to his defensive tactics most of the time, be able to keep his distance, and he likes to have his body face a bit more outward, as opposed to somebody like Mike Tyson, who's a bit more forward, right? And they're a bit more defensive. So we learned a little bit of kind of like that, to where this combo was, I'll throw in like a jab or a hook or something. Yeah, I'll throw in a jab. And when I throw in that jab, that's going to react to mitt attack or something, right? And instead of him throwing a hook, he's doing like a straight. So if I throw my jab, he throws in a straight, or he's throwing his punch. Get out of the way, and then you're going for a right. Right, so it'd be like a jab, and then a right, just like that. So we did a bit of that. That doesn't really lean more towards my style, but it could still be utilized. You know, if I'm like throwing in a jab and I could do a bit of a sway back. Generate a lot of momentum and go forward with it as well. That'll definitely take a lot of practice for sure. But yeah, definitely a good kind of thing to learn. But I guess the best description of how that's kind of learned is from Floyd Mayweather and how he does his little jabs, python snaps. Okay, so yeah, we learned a bit of that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. After that, we focused more on bodies, where both of us partnered up, and we went about, I think it was like 3 or 4 rounds. That was like 5 rounds of just partnering up and trying to give each other body blows, just nonstop, just trying to read your opponent and being able to slip in a body shot. I got hit with quite a bit of good ones, some liver shots and a bit of a solar plexus shot. So if you ever get hit with those, you definitely know how that feels. Kind of like if you get hit with like a liver shot, it almost reduces or creates like a bit of a gag reflex. It's like, whoa, like especially if you're really exhausted. So it's also a really good thing to have a good exhale every time you hit, because once you exhale and be able to take hits rather than go and get KO just from a body shot or something. But we've been doing a bit of that. As far as like my strategy for doing good with that, I'm gonna be a bit lower, a bit more, I guess more tight with my elbows and things like that, just so I don't give anybody a chance. And then just kind of slip in a bit. And also, if you go for hooks, so you go for the rib part as well, the back ribs. So if I was like this, the guy would probably want to go for my outside ribs or something, which could open them up, and I could sneak in a good one, or you also be a bit more defensive, be more Philly shell and rely a lot on shoulder rolls and things like that. Might be going for here, and if I'm going for here, then they could slip in something, right? You get a cheeky little slip jab. But yeah, we did a lot of rounds of that, and then after that, the class pretty much ended, and then as the class ended, that was pretty much time for sparring. And as the guys spar, I'm still just more focused on just the fundamentals and basics, because I just started, right? So I'll be able to spar when I'm ready. Might come soon, might not, I don't know. Hopefully I get videos of that in the future. But yeah, just been focusing on the fundamentals and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of endurance. I'd say like the main thing that gets people is endurance. There are times where when I was doing the body training with people, when I realized that they're starting to get a bit exhausted after their combo, and they're trying to retreat, or they're trying to catch their breath, that's like the best time to go in, because their form kind of degrades a little bit, or they're probably just still trying to figure out what they're trying to do next. So yeah, if you have like really, really high endurance and you don't lose any form, and you're just trying to get that perfect timing, then yeah, that's super helpful. Anyways, didn't want this video to go on too much longer of me rambling and all, but yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on everything, and yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.